I call to order the 1606 meeting of the General Student Senate and the 6th meeting of the 47th Senate. Notice that this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom and the recording will be publicly available on YouTube. I will now read the land acknowledgement. The University of Maine recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation. For issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. The university also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. Now, will the clerk please call the roll?
President Tripp.
Here.
VP Shelmerdine.
Here.
VP Bone.
Here.
VP Lehman.
Here.
VP Thompson.
Here.
VP Fang. Director Leclerc.
Excuse.
Director Erica. Here. Commissioner Stankwitz.
Here.
Representative Britton.
Excuse.
Advisor Stelco.
Here.
Senator Vanderwood.
Here.
Senator Schultz.
Here.
Senator St. Pierre.
Here.
Senator DeLorme.
Here.
Senator St. Lawrence.
Here.
Senator Cowan.
Here.
Senator Santaniello.
Here.
Senator Inman.
Here.
Senator Dana.
Here.
Senator Ricker. Senator Goodspeed. Senator Zuraw.
Here.
Senator Vallat.
Here.
Senator Van Beek.
Here.
Senator Madrid.
Excuse.
Senator Oldfield.
Here.
Senator Sutker. Senator Rivera.
Here.
Senator Weber.
Here.
Senator Seward.
Excuse.
Senator Rideout.
Here.
Senator Soper.
Here.
Senator Zelov.
Excuse.
Senator Collmore.
Here.
Senator Sparks.
Here.
Senator Craddy. Senator Whitehead.
Here.
Senator Levesque.
Here.
Senator Donovan.
Here.
Representative Pellet.
Here.
Representative Brunner.
Here.
Representative Neff.
Here.
Representative Karpinski.
Here.
Representative Fancock.
Here.
Representative Emery.
Here.
Representative Gamble.
Here.
Representative Abed.
Excuse.
Representative Tremblay.
Here.
Representative Farrago Dumch.
Here.
Did I miss anybody?
I'm now looking for approval of the 2/17/26 minutes of this agenda. Senator DeLorme.
Move to approve the 2/17/2026 minutes of this agenda.
Hearing a second, if it's the pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. We'll now moving into general good and welfare, where any non-member may address the GSS for no more than 5 minutes. Do we have any speakers? Seeing none, under new senators and officers appointments, Senator Chapin has resigned. Under club maintenance, I'd like to invite up Storied Writing Club for final recognition.
Come up.
Yes, to the podium there.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, I'm representing Story. We do fun prompts every week. We're pretty chill. We have about 15 members. We've been running for 3 years unofficially. Yeah.
Can you tell us what your club does?
Yeah. We write. We run fun little prompts, and then usually they'll be based off of writing prompts that we've gotten in creative writing classes. And then we do a little free write. It's just a safe, accessible space for people to experiment with creative writing.
What's one of your favorite events that you've put on this year?
Oh, so we do open mics the first Saturday of every single month. Those are always really fun. Last month we had some really good readers, so those are always really awesome to turn up to.
Are there any questions for our speaker? VP Ball.
Do you request asking funding from us in the future?
Yes. So we have, a lot of what we need, but for open mics, sometimes we want refreshments and stuff. So.
Senator Sparks, how many members do you have?
So the amount of people that attend each meeting and, the total number of members aren't the same, but we have roughly around 15 attending members every week.
Are there any more questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
3-0 to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber?
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Hearing a second, we'll now move into discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes.
I'd like to suspend rules and move guest speakers to right after presentations.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now move into discussion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor of moving the guest speakers to after club presentations? All opposed, all abstaining, seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Moving on to club presentations, I'd like to invite us Kappa Psi for the banquet follow-up. Are you presenting anything on screen?
No,
Okay.
I'm Lars Spooner. I'm presenting on behalf of Kappa Psi. We are a band service organization here on campus. You provided funding for our end of year band banquet for the marching band. I know Casper was in attendance. We held it at Jeff's Catering on February 6th. We had a buffet style meal that was put on. Only because of you guys, we would have had sandwiches otherwise. We were able to do some senior recognition and look back on the year and look forward to a year to come.
Are there any questions for our speaker? Senator Sparks?
What was the most memorable moment of the banquet?
Of the banquet,
Yeah.
the senior slideshow put on by grandpa. It's a staple every year.
BB ball.
What are you looking forward to for next year?
Next year's my last year, so I'm looking forward to kind of just sailing out and marching in and having fun, not trying to do anything special.
Senator Cowan?
How did you feel about the verbal rendition of Snake Pit? I heard it was really cool.
No comment.
Do we have any other questions for our speaker? Well, thank you so much for coming and presenting. For the motion, we'll now be moving on to guest speakers for our Leadership Scholarship Award recipients. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. It wasn't a little bit now.
Back to the camera.
I will start. We'll just do a photo op here.
Okay, hey guys, I've been talking about this for probably months now at this point, and we finally have the scholarship winners here. So, I'm gonna call them up one by one and give them these new fancy certificates that I got printed this year. Shout out to Senator Inman and Schultz for staying up late to help me finish designing them. And I'm just gonna probably briefly talk about each one. Let's see which one do I want to start with. Okay, we'll start off the top. Garrett. Garrett is an RA, like in the halls, so it's York Hall. Garrett is an RA in York Hall, whose application really talked about his leadership skills and conflict resolution, and that's really stood out to the committee. So congratulations, Garrett. Thank you. Oops. Ellis is a tutor at the Writing Center who works with a lot of students who are first generation student, college students, or students who may have in some way or other struggle with writing. And in their work in the Writing Center, they've done research to make writing more accessible to students that may struggle with this. Congratulations, Ellis. Um. Adora is the president of the Black City Union, who wrote about her work last year in the 2 years ago at the hair care fair, and how her role as a leader worked through some of the problems that came up. Congratulations. Eighth grade. Brady is the brother of Sigma Phi Epsilon, who wrote about the work he did within his fraternity to focus on men's mental health and better conversations with them. Congratulations, Brady.
Yeah, I don't think anybody heard because there was clapping. We're gonna get a photo outside of the. Huh? We're just gonna do it now.
But
Yeah, yeah, just us two.
Okay, just checking.
We'll now be moving on to the BPFA traditional report.
Okay, it's a busy week, everyone. Start off, starting directed and allocated is $97,699.40. We had 2 returns that are allocated. One was listed, one listed is $26.11 from the Sliners from their winter tour. That was 46 out of VC 171. Then we have $175 returned from the Woodsman team from their home meet. That was in 47 SDC 15. We also have 2 transfers. Senior class council is transferring $220 from the movie licensing line item to the refreshments line item for the movie night. FEPC is transferring $200 from their candidate reimbursement line to their stickers line. No budget lines added, no office budgets. For EBC allocations to the consent agenda, Art Design Collective is requesting $34.95 for a bead making night. And then for resolutions, the Senate Society of Women Engineers for $3,030 for a conference. We have Club Women's Rugby for $2,000 for most of the remainder of their tier funding. There's Muslim Student Association who will be on Zoom for their iftar dinner for $2,620. We have Club Women's Lacrosse for $1,156.25 for the remainder of their tier funding. Club Men's Hockey for $15,000 for their nationals bid, and then Club Alpine Ski for $2,013.09 for the remainder of their tier funding. End of traditional report.
I'm now looking for approval of the consent agenda. Anyone more?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Hearing a second, if it's declared in the Senate, then it's adopted. Now moving into funding requests, starting at 47 SEDC 25.
Society of Women Engineers.
Hi, my name is Erin. I'm the vice president of the Society of Women Engineers, and we are paying $3,300 to send a few of our general members to attend the local conference for these National Society of Women Engineers in Columbus, Ohio.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Senator Cowan?
How many people are going on this trip?
We are sending we're sending a total of 7, but 6 undergraduates is what I am requesting for right now.
Are there any more questions? Senator Oldfield?
Have any of them been on this trip before?
We have had, our fundraising chair is here. She has attended a locals before. And then also we have a few other execs who I don't believe they've attended conferences before, but we are suitably preparing them to be able to attend, as other exec members have attended both national and local conferences.
Are there any more questions for our speaker? Senator Sparks?
How do you think this would benefit your club?
So it's a very good networking opportunity for a lot of our girls to get into the professional and simply just meet other professional female engineers because it is a very male dominated field. As well as there's a lot of professional development and like learning conferences. I, for one, last year attended the locals in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And there was a talk put on by a couple of engineers from Hasbro, where they talked about simply working at Hasbro and all that kind of stuff. There's also a very good job fair that a lot of girls attend and try to get jobs from.
Are there any more questions for our speaker?
Has anyone ever secured an internship or a full-time job from the job fair?
At nationals this year, I actually secured a internship for this summer in Washington.
Any more questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 on pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Next is 47S EDC 26.
This is Women's Club Rugby.
Hello, my name's Jenny. I'm Catherine. And we're here asking for the remainder $2,000 in order to add a new tournament to our spring schedule. It's called Beast of the East. It's held in April, and we're looking for funding for hotel rates and then also the registration for the event itself.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Senator Sparks.
How many people are going? It's 25 students and then our coach comes too.
Senator Oldfield.
How many other tournaments do you guys compete in, like in the spring semester?
This semester we have 3 of them.
Are there any other questions for our speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 on pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation.
I'm moving to approve the committee's recommendation.
Hearing a second, we'll now move into discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Now moving on to 47S EDC 28.
This is the Muslim Student Association.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for accommodating us on Zoom. So, hello, my name is Rufeda. I am the Vice President of the Muslim Students Association. We are asking for 2,620 for our annual iftar dinner, which is as we are in the month of Ramadan, which is just like 30 days of fasting for Muslims, we are planning to host a dinner to kind of gather the Muslim students around the school to break our fast together, which is something that's it's a cultural celebration in Islam that we do. We are looking for funding for around 75 undergraduate students. I'm sorry, we are planning to host like around 75 undergraduate students for the iftar dinner.
Are there any questions for our speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 ought to pass as amended.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber.
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
During a second, we'll now move into discussion. BB Ball.
In EVC, the amendment that was made was a consolidation of food, drink, and dessert into one refreshments line item. But I will mention that when doing that consolidation, we forgot to account for the change in the price per person. And so at 75 undergraduates, their cap for food would be 1,500. And so I would look for a senator to make a motion to put it in line with financial policies, which would read 1,500 for refreshments and a total of 2,120.
Is there any other points for discussion? Seeing none, debate. Senator Weber.
I move to change the allocation for refreshment, $2,000 and $1,500. Second.
During a second, we'll now move into discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, the amendment passes. We're now back to debate for the resolution as amended.
Just to clarify, that didn't change the total amount.
I mean, changing that automatically changes the total amount because you changed the line item. Just like clerical base.
Yeah. We can accept that. Are you okay with that? You want to make a motion to reread it? Go for it.
Is there any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor as amended? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes as amended. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for.
Point of privilege, I think, or point of information, how much is the total at this point? Given to them?
$2,120.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll now be moving on to 47S, BBC 29.
One moment, that is Women's Club Lacrosse.
Hi, I'm Olivia, so I'm the president, and this is Alex, the treasurer. We're here requesting our additional funding of $1,156.50. We're planning to use this for new equipment like goals, ball buckets, and out a heater. Since we don't play on a field that has lacrosse lines, we just don't have one here in Maine. And we would also use this for the rest of our semester, just for the rest of the trouble that we have. Yeah, we usually get like cases of water and stuff for the bands, so just some other expenses that we can like that.
Are there any questions for our speakers? President Tripp?
Where are you at in your season and how's it going so far?
It's going good, we're like halfway. Yeah, we have about 6 games left, so yeah, it's going on.
President Tripp?
Do we anticipate perhaps a national bid?
We never really know, because they like pick and choose, but maybe, I'm not really sure, but
When you do, let us know.
yes.
Any more questions for our speakers? What is a off-out feature?
So on a normal lacrosse field, there's like a circle around the net, and then there's an additional lines kind of out like in an oval sort of rectangular shape, and that is just something that we don't have, and it's like the basis of everything that we do in practice, so it would just be really helpful. We use cones right now. It would just be really helpful to be able to practice with like a real setup every week.
Any more questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 ought to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Oldfield.
I move to approve the committee's recommendations.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Being a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Now on to 47S EDC 30.
This is men's club hockey.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Aaron Collins, I'm the president.
My name's Anthony Frank, I'm the treasurer.
And we're going to nationals for the first time, so we're really excited about that. I know originally it said 15,000 for the request. That would be flights and hotels. At the time that I made that request, I didn't realize that we had to pay for a flight sooner than that. So Josh has advised me that it needs to come down, and so the hotels is just 8,500. That would be our new request for nationals, and yeah, we're taking all 26 of our members right now, or 25 members and a coach. Really excited. It's our first time. Already done quite a bit of fundraising for this event for ourselves. And
Are there any questions for our speakers? Senator DeLorme?
Could you mention how much each individual team member is required to fundraise?
yeah, so the baseline was all dues paid, which is $1,400, and then a minimum of $500 raised. And we're keeping track of that through a website called Vertical Raise, which is very helpful.
Senator Sparks?
How are you guys doing on hitting that goals?
Good. I think we have one club member that is working towards that right now, and all dues are paid, and we just have one club member that we're getting on about that.
Any more questions? President Tripp?
I have two questions. My first is, what is your total operating budget for the year?
So for this year, it was around $47,000. It's a lot with like ice time and travel and paying the refs, stuff like that. Majority ice time and refs, I would say, is our big thing. Yeah, it's a lot.
President Tripp?
Second question is, I've been in the Senate now for 4 years, which feels like forever, but we've obviously seen you come in time and time again for tier funding. Tell us about a little bit about kind of your road to nationals this year.
Yeah, it's honestly been a long road since my freshman year. When I joined the team, we didn't have a coach. We didn't really have much of a team. I think half the members actually contributed to the team, like showing up to practices, events, and stuff like that. And it's been this group of seniors that made the team when we were freshmen. They worked hard and building this up, and just to test kind of like the team we have now. We have a lot of young guys, 15 freshmen and 7 seniors. The rest fresh juniors and sophomores. Just kind of paving the way and just trying to teach these young guys how to play here. But it's been incredible. We went to Canada, played the #1 seed. Unfortunately lost 2 games. They came down to us and we beat them. So we're looking at a real shot here when we go down to Florida.
Are there any more questions?
How many teams are in the tournament?
12 got invited to nationals.
Any more? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
311 ought to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber?
I move to approve the committee recommendation with the seconds.
Hearing a second, we'll now move into discussion. VP Fang?
We can take home. Or I guess Madam Chair, can I ask you a one question?
Yeah.
Was this committee recommendation made before or after you found out that the flights were not gonna be in the request?
Made before.
Any other points for discussion? Seeing none, debate. Jordan Thompson,
I was the vote in the negative in EBC, now that it's not $15,000, it's only 8,000, I would have voted in favor in EBC.
any other points for debate? Senator Weber?
Also, question, does this need to be amended?
Yes.
Senator Sparks?
I would like to make an amendment to remove the flights from this funding request.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. President Tripp?
Moving flights for the funding request would make the total $8,500. And no further motion. Steve.
Points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. That was the amendment.
Oh. One more step.
One more step. Sorry, this is Robert's rule.
Okay, so.
We are now back into discussion on the resolution as amended. As amended.
I think it's really cool that you guys are going to nationals. We would love some pictures. If you could take them and send them to us, we'd love to highlight it, and best of luck. I hope the Senate supports this.
Any other points for debate? Senator Weber?
Yeah, like even, I mean, as it is, as the 8.5, I think it should go through. During EBC, we looked at previous funding requests for teams that we sent to nationals. We had one that was men's rugby for 4 days, also very far away. That was $11,000 a couple years ago. One for women's volleyball, that was half the people going. That was 5,000 a couple years ago. The 4 day was the longest any team will be going to nationals. The most amount of people they'll be going to nationals. It's also not the most expensive one we have.
People.
And also to just touch on like clarifying where we sit. The other most expensive request that came through EBC was for the Sikh Focus Conference for Black Bear Catholic. We ended up approving $7,367.20. And then we ended up sending 13 people on the account after it was cut down. And so with this cut, will you still be able to, are you anticipating something able to send all 25 undergraduates?
I'm sorry. We're sending all 25 undergraduates, including our coach, which is 26 total.
Are there any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes as amended. Now moving on to 47S EBC 31.
Cloud Alpine Speed.
I'm Abby, the Vice President.
And I'm Lauren, I'm the treasurer.
Alright, so to start, we can tell you a little bit about the team. We currently have 26 people eligible to race. At an average race, we send about 11 people. I think we've had 10 races this season, and then we were able to send the majority of our women's team and one individual man to the regional tournament last weekends ago. Yeah.
We're here to request the rest of your funding. We're hoping to use a majority, if not all of that, on gates, which are an essential piece of equipment for us. That's what we use to train. They're the things that stick out of the ground that we ski around. Each gate costs around $60, and we hope to use all of the funding on that to be able to make a full course to continue training, since our gates that we have now are literally from like 1980 something, and they're all breaking.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
5-0-0.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber?
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Hearing second, we'll now move into discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. If you're here for fund maintenance or any funding requests, feel free.
Say like that, don't stay.
Moving on. Moving on to executive reports, starting with the president.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. If you haven't realized yet by this semester, I come back from Augusta on Tuesdays and I am exhausted, so just kind of bear with me. I know that means like every Tuesday, but I feel like we keep together pretty well, but today was an especially exhausting day at the State House. Let me find. There we go. Right, so starting with some housekeeping. I wanted to bring up reps reporting back about UMSG business. I know I've been harping on reps, I promise this is just stuff that's coming up. And this is not to critique anybody's current practices, it's just to reiterate some expectations. So, and it's important that representatives work both ways and that UMSG information is reported back to your respective groups. I had a chance to visit IFC in Panhandle. They do this very well. I don't doubt that you do. But the other part of that too is for boards made up of smaller groups. It's important that you make it a point to encourage them to go back and speak to their smaller groups, so I think like SHAT and multicultural groups, IFC in Panhandle and all of the chapters. I know that my chapter got information from student government all the way from Bangor Room to Monday night at SIGEP, so it works and it works really well. And I just want to make sure that that is on top of mind for representatives. Moving into old business, like I said, I visited IFC in Panhandle and got a chance to speak to the executive teams as well as general bodies of each board. I encourage them to take their roles as representatives as seriously as they can. They already do, but I really talk them through the fact that while they are, chapter representatives or representatives of Greek Life, they're also representing people on this campus that have specific issues, and even if they may not directly pertain to, say, SHAC or IFC in Panhandle or Wildstein, but they are issues on campus, that those filter to the Senate so that we can make sure that that representative board is going, like I said, those both ways. And I think that I saw a really good example of that and wanted to make sure I reiterated it here. It's unfortunate, and I don't know if you guys are going to talk about this, with updates about National Panhandle stepping on kind of the joint judicial board, but I'm very optimistic about what that looks like when it's applied to IFC. Panhandle does have its own judicial policy, so instead of it being joint, they'll be separate. I think that we have an opportunity to make them very strong this year, and that accountability mechanism will still be kind of in full force and developed. For the syllabus bank, I've sent a few reach outs to the group about this. I'm going to follow up again tomorrow, and I'm really hoping to see a meeting scheduled for next week. We're kind of running out of time here. I know that everybody is busy. I'm getting a lot of out of office emails as well, so I'm just going to kind of keep pushing there. We have all the players in place, and I know that Senator Oldfield, I assume, has some updates from the Academic Affairs Committee meeting about where they're at with the whole thing. We're kind of stuck in limbo because of a little bit of a faculty push and pull with the administration, we'll say, and we're not exactly top of mind for them, which makes sense. They represent faculty, so hopefully that disagreement between faculty and administration can resolve so we can move forward. But in the meantime, I do think that we can develop a lot of the background stuff so it's ready to go when it's ready to go. But yes, I am also a little bit disappointed about how slow moving this process has been. Also, for last week, I told you myself and Vice President Shelmer and I would be meeting with Deans Gifford and Sedelco about the amnesty policy. That got stepped on because of the snow day, which is totally fine, but I assume we're going to reschedule for the next Monday. So I'll come back with information about that. For new business, hiring is live. Applications are live, and you can find them through our Instagram bio, website, or by searching Student Government on CareerLink. The email will be going out tomorrow via campus groups. I'm going to send it bright and early. And the second round of emails will look like directed to deans to kind of more specific to the colleges to kind of push out, as well as potentially some department emails, depending on where we're at with applications. So far, I don't believe we've had any. Oh, we have 2. Look at that. So it's been open for literally 2 days. We have 2 applications. That's great. But I will keep you guys kind of informed about what is going on in the background there. And a reminder that the deadline is March 13th. And please, senators and representatives, senators, obviously tell your friends, representatives, this is a good piece of information to bring back to your boards for them to share to their boards, et cetera, et cetera. And if you guys need anything for that, like a write-up or something, let me know, I'll send it to you. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the RA Representative Board. Dean Gifford has informed the lead RAs that she believes the RA rep board should not be pursued, citing that RA positions is a leadership role and not a club, and wouldn't make any sense to turn into a representative position, especially now that we don't have standalone lead positions. This was disappointing to hear, but I need to have the conversation with her about that. And that said, we may need to reassess what this looks like to see if it will come to fruition at all. Either way, it's just very clear that we need to build some sort of relationship stronger with RAs so that we can be getting this information, especially if the administration believes that a direct representation is not appropriate. Finally, as I like to take criticism to the chin, by now I'm sure you've seen the Maine campus article. If you haven't, I encourage you to go read it. I want to talk about a little bit about what we have been doing in the meantime. I would say that there was information in that opinion piece, and remember, it's an opinion piece, that we hadn't done anything. That's not true. We've raised the issue now to Vice President Boyden, as well as the president on one-on-one, and it's on my agenda for our next one-on-one, which we haven't been able to have this semester, because the president's schedule keeps changing around. It'll also be on the administration agenda for our, final senior admin meeting? I think so. That being said, wages did increase at the beginning of the year and were scaled to the minimum wage like we were concerned about in the Senate and making sure happened. That did happen. But that being said, and while everything maybe wasn't 100% in there, I think we should take this as a nudge to do a little bit better about the way that we are explaining and the way that we do things. I think that criticism is good. That's what it's for. I appreciate the Maine campus for running the story and put my face on it. It's okay. I'm glad that they did. It really is okay. But I just think it should be a good reminder that a lot of the work happens within this room and in our committees, and we don't get everywhere, and our conversations don't get everywhere. And part of that is why I'm pushing this conversation about making sure that wherever we can have direct routes to, we're fully educating students on what we're doing. And maybe we need to do a lot better on the wage issue. So I think that's worthwhile. And that is the end of my report.
For my report, last week I did 2 interviews with Maine campus regarding my report last week regarding the campus infrastructure and the $1.1 billion deferred maintenance. And so that's something coming out soon. And so if you have people talking about it, please refer them to either me, or if you feel educated enough, please remind students about that. I also had a meeting with Dick Young that went well. I was accompanied by Senator St. Lawrence and Senator Supker. The meeting focused on campus dining services, parking issues, and UBAC operations. Dick Young provided updates on dining changes, including the successful implementation of the food stations and upcoming addition to the Buffalo Wild Wings on campus. We also talked about parking challenges, particularly regarding snow removal communication and the need for better marked parking spaces. Senator St. Lawrence raised concern about handicap parking spots, themed discussion about state mandated requirements. I also asked about UBAC's operations, learning about their new ambulance and a new drug management regulation. We had a conversation discussing about the improving communication between administration and students regarding campus changes and projects, because I asked him at the end, do you have any questions for us? And he didn't know how to best convey the information. So I just continued the same sentiment that we've been asking administration all year. It's just transparency. There's a couple different updates from that meeting. For the U Park, which would be additional red parking spaces, that's an additional 20, and it's off campus, so it's a satellite lot, and they'd be offering that for $25. They currently are not being used, but they will be advertised starting this summer. Regarding the snow parking and subsequent tows for people who do not live on campus, he found out that from grounds, they did not put out barricades even when requested to explain the snow removal. And that when they asked about using a large event trailer, they declined. If this is to happen again, grounds is on board for having much better communication. They're going to start calling odors at 2 p.m., which takes an average of 3 hours. As there's a vast number of vehicles at the Hilltop lot. And so that's just one of the new things that they're going to implement, because a lot of people got towed without knowing about it. And the grounds like just like the department, they're on board for this and they're gonna help barricade the main entrances to the lots being plowed. And they're gonna remove them when done. They're gonna set up a text system to set reminder to all residents and then use campus groups and the parking campus group for more alerts. And then use the athletics event or trailer board with red lot snow removal for this week or something like that. And that's a quote. Dick is following up with Joe Farley about painting the lines a brighter color for the future, so students can see them, and this is regarding all the lines in the parking lot, so. Like when I was parking the CCA and you're like looking down the line and it's going like that and it causes issues for everyone. Don't laugh. The parking lines are white and you can't tell, so no one's parking in the right spot, so they're gonna look at change the color in the future. I attended the alumni board meeting with Keegan on Friday, and I informed the members of the $1.1 billion deferred maintenance, but unfortunately, none of them knew about that. And so that was a really great introduction to all of them. And I'm setting up a meeting with UVAC with administration to help do a check-in and also to see how their relationship with athletics is going. End of report. Now moving on to Vice President of Financial Affairs.
Hello, everyone. This past week, I had a full itinerary of meetings with clubs and UMSG divisions, and meetings to prep for the annual budget. The deadline to submit paperwork is this Thursday at noon, though I did just extend it to 5:30 on Thursday due to missed office hours yesterday being snow day. I have confirmation from Sean Owens that all sports clubs are either booked to meet with me or have already met with me. So if you aren't at that point and you're in the USG division and you're falling behind the sports clubs. Again, if you're interested in my position, please feel free to just pop into the office hours and shadow me. And if I have time, I'll talk you through and walk you through what my position does. If not, you can just kind of learn by observation and report.
Vice President of Student Organizations.
Hey everyone, another week of SOC not being held due to the snow day. So we only had one club, which was from last semester, to come in today. Also did a shadowing meeting, and I had a conversation with another interested person interested in the VPSO position because hiring is open. I'm going to be reaching out to another person soon to set up another one. If you're interested in my job, reach out to me and we can talk and have a shadowing of SOC or some of my office time. I can show you how I email clubs. If you hear a friend who's interested in the position, they're not in student government, you can also connect them with me. I'll meet with anyone. I'm also setting up a meeting with Rec Sports to discuss tying tier funding to participation in the club sports rep board. This is because the form isn't being filled out with the pace that we'd want it to be. And this is a conversation we've had since the start anyways, was making it tied to tier funding. So we're gonna iron that out hopefully this week. With that form being due March 1st. So if you're in a sports club, make sure your officers know what's going on there and report.
Vice President of Student Entertainment.
Hi everyone, 336 tickets were used at Black Bear Cinemas last week. Again, please make sure to tell your friends about this, it's fun, it's cool, it's great. SEC still meets Fridays, 12 to 1 in my office, located in the back of the Wade Center. Please come, please hang out, it's great, it's cool, it's fun. Okay, so this is the big thing, concert, announcing the opener and headliner this week. Maybe even sooner before Friday and Thursday, if I can say that. Make sure to tell all your friends to be on the lookout and please send that out to as many people as possible. It's great. It's gonna, can I say that it's going to be coming from, it's gonna be coming from the, how can I think of it? The university Instagram. So be on the lookout for that and going to tag us as collaborators. We figured that this was the best way to get out information, as when we sent out a previous thing under them, they got a lot more engagement because they have a lot more outreach than we do. So please be on the lookout for that. But it'll also show up on our Instagram because we'll be collaborators. But that'll be announced, and that's very exciting and very cool. And now this is very important, as there is a change. So I said February 27th, but it's now March 6th that we are going to be doing the SEC volunteer thing because we had a scheduling change. So we have to change that. So March 6th is the new date that we're going to be doing the volunteering thing, which is, mark that in your calendars because that is the date that will be happening. However, this Friday at SCC is the one that I'm going to be doing the contracting thing. So this Friday, I have Sean booked out and we will be going over how the contracting process works. So if you are interested in figuring out how contracts work or how working with talent like this works, or my job essentially, please come this Friday. It'll be very cool, very informative. I have a lot of well, I can answer like as many questions as Sean. Hopefully, he's smarter than I am, but I have a lot of experience too. And lastly, as others have hinted at, jobs are open. So if you are interested in my job, AVPSC Hall's job, please come talk to us. VP Thompson said that he did like a shadow or like question, like answered your questions, whatever. I'm very much willing to do the same thing. Just book with me, email me. I want to be as available for you guys to answer any questions you have because it's a fun job. I'd love to see one of you see the place. So please just come talk to us and report.
Vice President of Student Leadership.
Hi all, as you all saw, today the scholarship winner came to receive a certificate. CLC has begun working on a Senate retreat, which I'm really excited about, and more information soon. The tentative date is April 10th right now. If anyone knows of any major conflicts, like large events going on that day, please let me know ASAP. Any report.
Advisor to Student Government.
Hi, everyone. I attended the Black Bears Care meeting today on behalf of Senator Cowan. One of the exciting things that happened, I thought, in that meeting was that Dr. Stewart and Sean Sibley, who is the nurse practitioner over at Cutler Health Center, talked about how many students come in because they're required by their professors to receive notes, sick notes, when they're not feeling well, and how frequently they have to come back and get more and more notes because their professors require them, even though the doctor says you should stay home for a few days. Our Associate Vice President Provost, I think his name, I don't know exactly what his title. Scott Marzilli was there. I'm sorry?
Associate Provost.
Associate Provost, okay, great. We change our titles a lot, okay? He was there and that was heard by him. Everyone agrees that taking up valuable appointments at the health center to get doctor's notes when a doctor has already said don't go to school is a waste of time. And so he's looking for a recommendation from that group. He's going to work on that. That was a pretty good outcome of that today. And other than that, just as a reminder, I'm sure that Senator Cohen's going to echo this as well. We're getting close to the end of winter. We're so very close. But some of our students are just really tired and worn out and struggling with the rest of the winter and the cold and the snow. Spring break is almost here, if you could hang on. And just a reminder that if you have friends who are struggling or in need of help, Counseling Center has urgent appointments available every single day. And if they don't need a counselor, if they just need to talk to someone or figure out some sort of weird administrative problem, we are available upstairs in the dean's office. But don't let someone just hurt. Get them to somebody else so that we can help, please.
Are there any questions for the executive reports? Senator Oldfield.
This is a question for President Tripp. So when you mentioned the RA thing, did they elaborate on why they're considering it for clubs? Because RAs are not a club, but we don't only represent clubs in student government.
So there's two parts of this. One, generally, issues with what student government is doing, I agree, should be directed towards student government. That said, we haven't had a meeting with Dean Gifford in all semester, just because of the way that Mondays have felt. So I'm gonna bring that up. I do disagree with the premise a little bit, but I'd like to talk it through. I was looking for precedent of RAs being part of representative boards, and it seems that there really isn't one, or at least the former resident on campus, I'll get you to in a second, didn't include them specifically, but they happen to mostly make up that group from what I understood in the past. I agree. These are students first. I think these are students that are in particular need of extra support that we can provide, as well as the Senate really does need to hear about and in our mental health committee especially needs to kind of be able to hear and have kind of a pulse on that. I know that the lead RAs that exist right now were really excited about the prospect of having that representation. So my response to that would be, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it and see kind of exactly where that's at, because I agree they're students first, that's why they're RAs. But you gotta give it some time, Monday. Anything to add?
Yeah, if I could, I spoke with Dean Gifford after this whole conversation came through, and her quote came as definitively no, but it is not definitively no. She is a flexible, reasonable person, and she is open to discussion with it and looks forward to talking to President Trump about it. So it's not a flat hard no, it's a let's talk about how that might work.
Senator Palmer?
Question for you, actually. You mentioned that they weren't aware of the $1.1 billion deficit when you had that conversation, I think it was with the alumni.
The alumni board.
Could you elaborate on that conversation a bit?
It was,
Can I take this one? May I take this one?
Yeah, okay.
started the conversation.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
So the alumni board, and I'm gonna get into it because I forgot some things from my report, so sorry guys. But yeah. Sorry. The board is essentially a group of alumni, surprise, surprise, that does kind of two things. One, they are a direct advisory board to the president about certain aspects of the university. They meet roughly 4 times a year, so they're not as hands-on as they normally would be. But their really main goal is engagement with alumni. Their president CEO, Tom Pico, is flying around the country all the time. It's the coolest job ever. I love his job. He just gets flown around the country to talk about how cool the Black Bears are and meet with old alumni, especially wealthy donor alumni, and others to kind of, schmooze that. So we were talking about, this is confusing. So there's the Alumni Association and the foundation. The foundation does all the fundraising and money, okay? So the president of the foundation sits on the alumni board. Now we have all the information.
Which one is Tom Pico?
Tom Pico is the president of the Alumni Association. Jeffrey Mills, former student body president here, is the president of the foundation. So Jeffrey Mills was there and we were talking about the fundraising efforts. And I brought up 2 things. One, what is the precedent of having students involved in the foundation? And I'm actually working with them on seeing if we can get our BPFA, maybe not necessarily BPFA bone, but in the future, some sort of representation and also some mentorship around that. I think it'd be really cool, as well as kind of helping not dictate, but push the foundation towards current student views and what we need and whatnot. The other conversation we had was about how gifts, when they're donated to the foundation, okay, this is buckle in, guys. When the gift is donated to the foundation, it can be tied for specific things. So a lot of the money, think about Furland, let's use that as an example. People were very upset by the concept of the engineering department or the college getting, all of this money all this time and say, my home in CLES looking like it was built, right when it was built, and that's certainly true. But the issue there is that rich engineering alumni are donating that money back to the College of Engineering and tying it specifically to those buildings. They cannot be used for anything else. So I pitched the concept that maybe gifts over, this was literally me just spitballing, but gifts over 100,000 should have a 0.5% that has to go to a general fund, because while it's great to get a new Morse Arena and to have Furland and all of these new, exciting sports facilities and engineering facilities, we won't have hockey. We don't have sidewalks and buildings. So that turned into a conversation. He was like, well, I don't know. And the foundation isn't super involved in the infrastructure stuff. And I was like, okay, well, the 71% of the campus needs to come down in the next 10 years. And I said that thinking that everybody knew about that. No. So the Alumni Association was like, what? And Jeffrey Mills clearly knew about that. And Tom Pico clearly knew about that. But it was clear that that had not been widely reported to the alumni base. So there was a little bit of but to be fair, that's not exactly a direct thing that I guess is obligated to be reported to the Alumni Association. That said, the president often does come in and give updates about the status of campus. The concern that was brought up, gosh, I'm just airing everybody out, was that it would disincentivize folks from investing in the campus if they thought it was falling apart. So that is where the conversation ended, then we had to run. So that was kind of my last hurrah for the Alumni Association. But I trust that they will get the information they need.
And just to clear it up, in the meeting and just now, I started the conversation more in that meeting when I was correcting Keegan, it's not 71% that's high risk, it's 79%.
But fun thing, it's trying to play damage control, that's fine.
And then I went in talking about the deferred maintenance costs and all the buildings that come down, and they were talking about, oh, well, departments need specific things, and I reminded them, it's not departments, it's Vogler Library. It is every single building on the mall except the Lord Hall needs to come down. So it's just like a reminder of that, and that's where that part of the conversation came from. Any more questions for the executive reports? Nurse Martins.
I have two, hopefully very quick ones.
Yes.
First one for, like VP Showerdine. For the new satellite camping, is it $25 on top of the parking passes that we already have?
No, it's a $25 flat fee. It's because it's satellite and it's away from campus, and so you're paying less for it because you have to walk on the bike path.
So think about it for students who, I think everybody who lived in the dorm, you know, somebody who pulled their car up to the closest park to your building and then did not move it all year. We all remember that. So this will hopefully help with that issue and allow students who aren't going to use their cars often just to get to and from school to have a lesser parking pass payment. And this is something that myself and VP Schneider directly worked on, because originally they weren't going to change the price. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Then my second question, what steps are the administration working towards better communication?
For the meeting specifically with Dick Young, I have set up the bi-weekly. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. Keep going.
I've set up bi-weeklies with Dick Young, and he is sending me afterwards a complete rundown of the meeting and action items that he's getting back with me on. And so he wants to be able to verify every single action item we bring up. And then I have the once a month meetings with Joe Farley, and the more bigger scope for the president's speak is what we're working on.
So if you recall, last week I made a report about an administrative meeting that I had with the president and the senior members of the cabinet, in which we expressed our frustration with having not heard anything back about our two AXA urges. And they responded that they felt as though there was no mechanism. They didn't think that they had to respond. And that essentially the faculty senate and the way that that one works, if they have a certain amount of days after the faculty senate passes something to give them a response, they said that, well, that makes sense because we get to have a say in the committees, which I said, well, if you would like to attend student government committees, you can. They don't want to, which makes sense. And then I was tasked with, I guess, going to look at what best practices are on other campuses and how administrations react to student government. That to me was kind of a kick in the teeth, because we were really asking for, and we made clear, we would like a response and like just things clarified, and I think that was made clear. So when I have my meeting with the president one-on-one, this is something that we're going to specifically talk about. I'm going to come with some examples of other student governments that have, I would say, healthier and more direct relationships with their president and administration. And that even if there isn't a best practice, I really look forward to building a best practice here.
Any more questions? I'm going to give you a break. Thursday here.
This is a question for you about the parking. So you were saying, just wanted to clarify, the barricades you're talking about are like signs that they put up saying this parking lot will be plowed on this day?
Yes,
And those weren't put up?
those were not put up.
Cause I did see a lot of people getting towed in the red parking lots. Are those, all the people that got towed, like, are they getting reimbursed? Or do they still have to pay all that?
I don't know what's going on with those people individually. Does Center Oldfield have?
So I got towed last semester.
Not during plowing, but because the sign they had up for the parking lot didn't include the day before, but it was actually closed that day. But the sign didn't say that, and they sent one email 3 weeks prior telling you that it was a closed lot on that day. And you can like fight your ticket, because you get a ticket and you have to pay the towing fee. So you can fight your ticket, but if you want your car back from the towing facility, you do have to pay the towing fee. And I don't think the university is able to reimburse that at all. It's $150, and then you get the $50 parking ticket on top. So it's $200 when you get towed on campus.
Senator Swift, I would like to suspend the rules and move 5-minute recess to right now.
I have things to say, can you do it after this?
After Keegan trip is done.
No, you should just put it after executive reports.
After.
Hearing a second, we'll now go into discussion. Seeing none, debate. Senator Powell.
I think that we should just power through. I don't know how other people are feeling about other reports, but I don't know how extensive other reports are going to be, and I would rather just get through all the reports.
Senator Oakfield? It does feel a little soon for that. I think a better compromise might be after special committees and before board and community association reports, just because I know personally I have a pretty long report. And then we also have 4 resolutions to get through after that. So I think that'd be a little closer to halfway through.
Senator Sparks.
Yeah, so. Oh, right, so, in trust Senator Powell's thing, this is moving the 5-minute recess, so it would mean that we wouldn't get another one.
Yes,
So we would have it.
what I'm saying against that. Yes.
Are there any more points for debate? BP Thompson.
Can I ask why right now?
Because we have been talking about a lot of heavy information and I need a brain break.
Any other points for debate? Senator Powell.
I think we're probably going to talk about heavier information or more information related to this, and I would rather.
Senator Collins.
I have a question, is there precedent to add a new one and a key motorcycle ones? That's the word, okay. Right.
Any other points for debate?
I would be strongly in favor of a 2-brake system tonight.
Senator Warren.
Motion to previous.
Second. Now I have to take it.
Now, all those in favor of the motion previous. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Raise your hands up high. I'm wearing my contacts. All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We are now voting on the amendment, or not amendment, but the motion to move the 5-minute recess to after executive reports. All those in favor? 1, 2. All those opposed? Please, all the way. There we go. Seeing a majority, it can be negative, that fails.
That felt like a 5-minute recess. Okay.
Presidential.
2 more things. Student entertainment update to outreach. When Vice President Lehman is talking about getting the university to post these things, this is huge. We had a conversation with Sam Perry in the marketing office to do this. Essentially what that turned into was a consistent relationship where this university is going to help us push concerts year in and year out. So thank you to Vice President Lehman and everybody on the SEC who's been coordinating with them this year. We're talking about the difference between 34 likes and thousands of likes. So everybody should be really excited about that and make sure that if you're going to be here next year and you're going to be with the PFP to keep that relationship alive, And then lastly, I did want to talk a little bit about the UMaine Alumni Association. I was sad to have my last meeting last Friday. They have been major allies. I mean, the love that they have for this campus is genuinely unmatched on this campus. They see issues like we do when it comes to transparency from the administration, a little bit more now, as well as student inclusion, and really seeing students first and student last, as well as the importance of student leaders. I mean, these are the folks that helped us move the inauguration to Buchanan to make it as special as it should be. They're the folks who put together the Student Leader Gala to help us and student leaders themselves connect with not just us, but also the Alumni Association and the resources that they can provide. So what I would like to do is put together a card for next meeting and have everybody sign it so we can send it to them and kind of show them their appreciation. Tampico is just gold. These people are so awesome. And like genuinely, Vice President Michelle and I can attest, I was like tearing up when I was giving my last report, so are others. These people have become like friends of mine. And I just really think that we need to make sure that we show them appreciation. I also encourage everyone in this room, not just seniors, but especially seniors, to kind of get involved in the Alumni Association and see that this community just does not end when you cross the stage of commencement, and they are kind of living proof of that. So that is truly the end of my report.
Are there any more questions for the executive reports? Senator Palmer.
Just wanted to make a motion to add a 5-minute recess now, so after executive reports. So instead of moving the other one, just add one.
Hearing second, we'll now move into discussion. Is everyone clear that this is adding and this is different from the last one? Not. Seeing no discussion, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Hi, we're really voting. And that should be the case for every time you vote. I'm sorry.
All opposed? All abstaining? Same clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. And we will reconvene at 7. We'll now be moving on to periodic reports, starting with the faculty senate student representative.
No report.
Okay. For the University of Maine Board of Trustees student, I have that report. The trustee selection process is now on the stage where it's been passed to the governor, and that Rep. is working on the selection process materials and a report. Chair of the Fair Election Practices Commission.
Hi, everyone. So first I wanted to touch on the town hall that is happening tomorrow with our president and vice president candidates. It'll be in the bumps room, which I believe is just across the hall at 6 p.m. This is a great opportunity. If you had thoughts on that main campus article, come bring them to our candidates and ask them about their opinions, ask them about what they think. Ask them any question, invite your friends, spread it on Yik Yak. There are flyers over on that table where you've got your agendas if you want to give any to your friends. And then next, I am voting. Next week is election week, which is crazy that it's come so fast. Monday will be in-person voting from 11 to 3. Hopefully, in the Union, right by the smoothie place, I believe is where we will be set up. So tell your friends about it, let them know that, if they come, they can get one of the cool stickers that was sent out in the attachments tonight, if you looked at those. But Qualtrics will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to the next Friday. So it'll be open for a whole week. So don't dilly-dally. Make sure you fill it out when you can, if you can't come in person. Also, not to harp on it, but hiring is open. So if you're interested in asking me about what I do on a day-to-day basis, asking me what I do when it's not election season, come talk to me, book a meeting with me, or come to FEPC, which is 4:30 to 5:30 on Tuesdays. After next week, we're about to start planning inauguration. So if you have thoughts on food or drinks or desserts or fun things to put on the projector, come talk to me, come to FEPC. And a report.
Does anyone have the student legal services liaison report? Representative to the Graduate Student Senate?
No report.
Representative to the Machias Student Senate.
No report, but I do notice that my name is not listed there. At least to me, that's a big deal, but my opinion, this is not, unless it is.
It's just a, yeah.
It'll
We
be
just
added.
missed the update. Okay, you got it.
Board our tax.
Leslie's template, I just didn't get it to the agenda. I'll put that next.
They moved the meeting, they canceled it because of the snow, so it's being postponed and it'll be next Monday. If there's anything that anyone wants me to bring to them, let me know. And it's
Old Town City Council liaison.
Oh,
Representative of Military and Veterans Affairs. Was he here? Okay, we'll come back to that. There is no report for the VOC, Director of Technology. Yeah.
Be on the lookout for the concert artist announcement tomorrow, and please share it on your social media as well as with all your friends. Word of mouth is going to be very helpful, and we need all hands on deck for this. Outside of concert stuff, I will be posting about your committee, so thank you much for providing me with your flyers. Most of my priorities will revolve around the concert, elections, and hiring from here on out. If you have any suggestions or would like help with this or any other ideas for the Marketing and Communications Committee, please feel free to reach out or come to the meeting at 4 on Friday.
Thank you. University of Maine Security Representative.
Hi everyone, apologize for my absence. I had some personal issues, which is why I missed the last 2 meetings. So in my last meeting with UMPD on Thursday, we covered a few things. They're working on getting new cameras installed in the Alpine football stadium because there aren't enough, and they want to get good coverage with tailgating and just games in general. And they're also getting some installed on the front and sides of Folklore, which are heavy traffic because it's in the center of campus. They're getting a second light box, which is the mobile light sign for traffic after one last fall got hacked, last fall. They have reinstated a new, it is not universal, and they're buying batteries that will be longer lasting for cold weather. The blue light system is not being removed. They are being reinstated, and they want to cease all rumors that they are being removed. It's our job as student government to make sure that our student body knows that they are in the process of working on them. They have a new system to rewire them, and they are going to be completely reconstructing them, hopefully over the summer. They have already started. They are currently working on the reimbursement of traffic engineering and repaving and reconfiguring Long Road, Orbit, and the Dunn lots, with the hope that by the time we come back next fall, we will see improvement in the travel on campus. Chief Flag also stated that between now and the middle of August, we should see a dramatic improvement with the new lights, the new street lights. Thankful to Senator St. Lawrence and myself for being in communication with them. They are working on the North Campus and working with the town, I assume Orno and Old Town, to see how many lights they're going to put up in addition to the burnt out ones. And lastly, I'm in communication with Jamie Dover on Copy with Cops, and we are going to be doing a low-key one for March 6th, maybe March 6th, and then hopefully growing bigger as the semester goes on. Thank you guys.
Representative of Military and Veterans Student Affairs.
No report.
The Center of Undergraduate Research Liaison. Does anyone have that report?
He will be reaching out to the winners of the leadership scholarship to see if they're available for the symposium day for the student panel will be held. Currently, my committee is working on that, but the next Cougar meeting is Thursday, the 5th. And so there will be more information about all things with the symposium that everyone.
So we skipped over DOC, she said no report, and then he read the DOC's report, and it's actually is recommended no report.
Okay.
And the veterans.
No,
Please be just.
Okay.
Is that correct? No report? Are there any questions for the periodic report?
I guess you just went there.
Question for the Senator. Are they also looking to installing sites outside of campus, like they were discussing last semester?
They are working on it. Their plan is to get, they're working with a specific kind of camera that are high resolution and probably 360. And so they're working on Bowler and Alphonse football stadium first because they are so highly trafficked. And they want to see how the new camera systems are gonna work, and because they have, they've already got. From what I know, they're gonna try and do all of the camera, all of the lighting, and all of the blue lights at the same time, because they are going to have the engineers employed, and so they just wanna knock all three out at once. Not sure, but that's the information I have for you.
Is there any more questions for the PR reports, Representative?
I have a point of privilege for Senator Inman. I'm really happy to hear that the blue lights are going to be reinstated. Is that how it's characterized? I'm really happy that's what's happening. I think that's a big deal. A lot of people are gonna be happy about that.
Phoebe Thompson?
Also, question for Senator Inman. In regards to the blue lights over the summer, are they planning to like fix the issues they had with it being kind of archaic, was my understanding, or is this like a band-aid?
What way?
Like it's old tech, right?
Yeah, so they're completely, so the reason that there was a rumor about it going out that they weren't gonna be reinstated is because they were trying to find a wiring system that they could continue to update. They cannot update the current wiring system because it's from like the 70s or like 80s or something. So they have found a new wiring system. They are putting in a bunch of work. They're planning on completely rebuilding the towers. They should have a speaker, a light, a camera, and the lights should be color changing to indicate different things depending on what is going on.
Are there any more questions for the PR reports, President Tripp?
This is more of a fun one for Senator Inman. I have, or Sergeant Dober. Officer Dober? Sergeant. I don't know, I said Sergeant. Officer Dober reached out to me about a meeting about the Comfort K9. Do you want in on that meeting? Cool.
Any more questions for the periodic reports? Seeing none, moving on to reports of standing committees, starting with policy and procedure.
Hello, we have 4 resolutions going through tonight. There were a couple bumps along the road, but we got there. There was also consensus reached about the stipulation made last Senate about the policies, so those will be submitted tomorrow at committee and presented to Senate next week. I now have a poster for our GOC to post on Instagram. Thank you, Senator Inman, for making that. You're the best. I'm working on 2 other posts for Instagram. One is how to write a resolution, and the other is following the resolution through the pass-fail process. So I have a couple others in mind, but those are actively in works at end of the works.
Services?
Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well today. Had a great snow day yesterday. Last week, VP Schomburg and Senator Sucker and I had gone where a couple topics in particular services were brought up. First of all, we talked about the parking situation on campus and what the progress is looking like for students. There are currently on average 120 to 170 red spots that are open per day and not being used. Commuter parking has been relatively more open this semester compared to last. There's still the issue of parking lines, crosswalks, and general road lines being very faint and not visible, especially from winter time. We talked about potentially switching the paint color for parking to a more contrasting color and keeping up with necessary repaints across campus. We also talked about increasing the number of handicap parking spots across the campus, and I was given a contact to start that conversation with the university. In committee this week, we'll focus on handicap parking and determining where more spots are needed and the total number of spots needed. We'll also start the initial plans for the night walk for the semester. I'm working on compiling a complete map of every concern from last semester's night walk, so that there can be a metric for comparison between semesters when it comes time to move back for the spring. Lastly, I'm planning on setting up a second time for committee meetings during the week. If you're a member of the services committee, you're only expected to go to one of the meetings, not both. It's looking to end up being held on Mondays from 11 to 12, 12 to 1. Once I get some feedback on availability, I'll post that time in the services chat, the Senate chat, and in student government report.
Academic affairs?
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna apologize in advance for my long report. It's been a little while since I've given a report this long, so bear with me. I went to the academic affairs faculty meeting last week on Wednesday afternoon, which was certainly an interesting meeting to attend. Some of the highlights in terms of information included a thorough conversation regarding the policies surrounding hosting classes during Thanksgiving week, as well as holding finals during the week of finals. A lot of the conversations surrounding the idea that faculty often do not host class during that like first couple days before our break actually starts during the Thanksgiving week, even though they are technically contracted for those hours. One of the points made was that certain professors face a lot of student backlash for being like the only ones to hold class when their other professors were not holding class. The outcome of the discussion was to remind staff of their requirements to hold classes at the beginning of week before break starts. Certain faculty expect that having more classes held will prevent students from skipping, because instead of skipping like their one class on Monday that's happening, they might be skipping all 3 of their classes on Monday that are happening. I brought up that while I totally understand that many students skip those, like I understand where they're coming from with like that thought process there, but that many students are skipping those classes for more than just to have a longer break, i.e. it's sometimes way cheaper to go home Sunday or Monday instead of the day before Thanksgiving. So I don't necessarily foresee that shifting amount of student attendance on that couple days before break starts. And I just wanted to be totally transparent about like the student perspective on that for faculty. And then in regards to finals week, there was a scattering of issues ranging from inconsistent ruling, and that faculty is technically contracted for those 2 hours that they're supposed to be hosting their final for. And so this is like contracted, like they're like paid for contact hours with students, and those 2 hours are worked into their contact hours. But when they register a new course, they're able to opt to not have a final. So they talked about getting some clarity from the associate provost and the registrar's office about what's actually expected in terms of finals on finals week, because when you register a class, you're allowed to not have a final, but you're supposed to be hosting finals because you're contracted and paid to have work during those 2 hours. It's very confusing. And then some new business items included developing optional language regarding the changes to Title II for faculty to include on their syllabi, or they also toss out the idea of putting it as a banner on Brightspace, so it's more like omnipresent, maybe is the word, than just in a syllabus with the 9 other required texts that most of us don't read. The hope is that this will bring awareness to students about what this might mean for course materials in the future. And then we did not really talk about the syllabus very much, which was a little bit frustrating to me, but it was also a very long agenda for only an hour meeting. A very brief conversation about developing a procedure for doxing or attacks on professors regarding syllabi was had. It was probably a total of 2 minutes we spent talking about this. I'm planning to reach out to the Maine faculty member and schedule a meeting with her in hopes of working out a procedure so that we can move forward, because that's one of the few things that's holding us up from getting things through the faculty and like actually starting the project. So if any of you have any thoughts about what a procedure for that sort of thing might look like, perhaps our advisor, I would be very appreciative of it. And oh geez, there's also a conversation about a lot of inconsistent policy problems is mostly what we covered regarding student evaluations. So those things you get emails regularly for to fill out at the end of the semester. So most of which led to an action plan for creating a more universal system for how professors customize their student evaluations, but still maintain the required questions that are used to like compare department performance and certain faculty performance, and it often comes up when faculty go to get like recontracted. That information is used. So there has to be some universal system for it, but professors also want to be able to customize it to be more valuable than just rate this professor's preparedness on 0 to 5, because I don't think any of us really find that productive. Which is something that the faculty also said they felt it was not really gauging information that was useful to them. And then one of the more exciting pieces of the meeting was the addition of a general education major for next year to UMaine at Orono in Machias. I'll have more details about what that'll look like for the next meeting, but I will also be meeting with Associate Provost, Senior Associate Provost Marzilli on Thursday, so my plan was to ask him about that as well. This is the last part, I promise. One of the last pieces covered was the Title II requirements. And at the faculty meeting the week before, professors have been told they needed to remove non-compliant material on or before April 24th, which would mean taking anything down from Brightspace the 2 weeks before finals week. Associate Provost discouraged this as it would be very unfair to students prepping for finals, as well as generally needing reference in course material. The plan is to address and ensure Title II compliance as much as possible through the remainder of the semester, but not pulling the rug out from under students. That was a direct quote. And ensure things are set up for compliance next semester. Sorry to cover so much at once, but it all seemed quite relevant to us as students. And I do have more in-depth notes from the meeting, so reach out if you'd like to see them. I had also been planning to bring up some attendance policy concerns I've seen over the past couple semesters, including the one that Advisor Sidonko brought up. Wow, been a long night on Thursday, but if you have anything else you'd like me to address, please let me know. End of report.
Are there any questions for the standing committees? Senator Sparks?
Could you drop your extensive notes in the academic affairs chat? I sure can.
Any more questions? Senator Hallmark?
I just had a question for Senator St. Lawrence about the average amount of red parking spots open. Do you know kind of what time they, I know it says average, but they must have had a time kind of when they did that, because I can't imagine there's that many spots on average open at like 11 p.m. on a Sunday. You know what I mean? It's like, I just feel like I definitely really struggle to believe that.
I don't know when they made the times for it. I don't recall if there was a time metric given for that measurement, but.
Point information, I actually know that, so when they picket people at night, one of the jobs of the people who ticket at night, because it's student workers. So I know a couple of people who did this, they count all the red spots, so if this happens probably 11, 12 at night. Somewhere around there, depending on what parking lot it is.
Are there any more questions for our standing committees? Seeing none, moving on to reports of special committees, starting with holistic health and wellness.
Hi, everybody. I hope you had a good estimated long weekend. I hope you all stayed safe, happy, and healthy in the snowstorm. Like Advisor Sidonko mentioned earlier, she attended the Black Bear Care Council for me, which was really awesome. Unfortunately, in my time in this position, I have not ever been able to make one of their meetings outside of their side committees, because they do always get scheduled during my classes, which I think is more so funny at this point. In committee, we wrote up the wording, which I then turned into a flyer design and sent off today for our committee Instagram post. So all the information about what we're currently doing, how students can get involved, and my contact information, as well as when we meet, is on that. I was also able to have a Zoom call meeting last week with one of the representatives from the service UWill, which we currently use. All of the UMaine system does. If you have any specific questions about what that meeting went into, it was mostly about like marketing and what services they provide for students. And we will be working on putting all of that information in an Instagram post format, a printable format, and getting that out to students through flyering and social media as soon as we can. This is a reminder that we meet at 4 p.m. on Thursdays in the Wade Center. If you are interested in getting involved, a couple senators have reached out to me over the last couple days. That's been really cool. So if you or your friends who aren't in student government are interested, this committee is open to it. End of report.
In dining affairs?
Everyone, I had my first meeting with Sodexo over at Hilltop last Thursday, and it was really productive. They, specifically the new general manager, I'm not sure if that's only of Hilltop or the, campus dining as a whole. I'm not to ask. They're very interested in more collaboration between the student body, UMSG, and Sodexo, as they previously had at Colby College and were surprised not to see here. Besides discussing a ton of feedback that I had gotten and workshopped in FDA, they gave me some updates as well. They are currently focusing on getting the Buffalo Wild Wings open, soft launching the week before spring break, and hard launching afterwards, which will have a more expansive menu that includes wings and fries, according to them. I asked about that. They want to collaborate on how to get more foot traffic in Wells and student participation in dining events and special food options overall. Really just looking for more engagement from the students. They are excited to help and assist with the Food and Dining Affairs Committee however they can. Specifically, they want to share the FDA flyer on the TV screens, the dining halls, and collaborate on tabling as well. End of report.
Undergraduate Student Symposium.
Yeah, so since the Student Leadership Awards, recipients have come out, they'll get emailed to hopefully participate in the panel event held at a symposium run by student government, and as such, we're getting questions, and getting them in sort of a vein of how, the university as well as like extracurriculars, have helped them achieve success not only with the student but outside of it. So if you have any ideas on what to ask or how to maybe shape the panel, going to symposium at 1 on Mondays. There's again the meeting that's happening on Thursday that I will hopefully be able to attend. I think I'm able to attend it. And as such, hopefully I'll be able to get volunteering and judging stuff out that I can hopefully print out and give to Res Life to hopefully put up in the dorms so we get more involvement. As it looks like already, they're already getting a lot more involvement. I think almost double the judges from last year. They already have that much signed up. I'm not sure about direct volunteer numbers, but if you want to volunteer in the symposium event as a whole, that's up now on the symposium website. I believe again, the UMSG will have our own sort of table there that will be more focused on feedback for the event that either I or Senator Craddy will be tabling for majority of the day to then give to them in the meeting to be a more direct, student-focused outlook on how to improve the event further. The report.
Voter involvement in the Education Committee.
Hi everyone, today's report will be quick. So week meetings will now be held on Mondays from 12 to 1 at the Wade Center. And we've also decided on the tentative date to table, which will hopefully be March 9th from 2 to 3 in the Union. And thank you to Senator Inman for making a poster for tabling. I've also sent my committee Instagram post to DOC Leclerc, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you.
Non-traditional commuter and transfer students.
Hey, everybody. This is going to be another pretty short report. Last week's meeting was very productive. We had a record number of attendees. I think there were 12 of us. So thank you to everyone who came out. Last week, I also met with, in addition to meeting with Dick Young, with VP Shelmerdine and Senator St. Lawrence. I also met with Catherine Sagata, the grad assistant for commuter and non-traditional student programs, and Holly Smart, the director of transfer and non-traditional student admissions. Both meetings were super helpful. Everybody's super excited about collaborating in the future. Just a reminder, CANS meets every Thursday at 5 in the Wade Center. We're planning some fun events this semester, future onboarding sessions for transfer students, et cetera. So feel free to come by. Please reach out if you're interested. Also, if any of you know any transfer and non-traditional students or commuters who want to get involved, please tell them. I want to increase the involvement just overall. End of report.
Are there any questions for the special committees?
I just forgot to ask them. I'm sorry. With them wanting to collaborate more with us, it's really important that more senators show up. They are looking to directly collaborate with student government and the student body, and that's not possible with only 2 people. Thank you.
Senator Dana, have you put in the request to table yet? Senator Cowan, am I mistaken? Do you still want your March 9th spot?
No. VP Thompson.
Question for Senator Collmore.
In regards to the meetups, what does the soft launch look like if it's not selling wings? Or if I'm not misunderstanding anything?
Okay, so no, so they will, it's not that they won't be selling wings, that they will be selling wings, but they're doing a more expansive menu than what a lot of people have thought they would have, which is just wings and fries. I heard a lot of concerns about people missing all the extra options that they had in Wells beforehand, the quesadillas and all the things like that. They're not getting rid of those. It's just kind of being integrated in with a larger Buffalo Wild Wings menu. I didn't get to see that menu, so I guess we'll all have to kind of see what that looks like. So the soft launch is like, it'll open and it's like kind of just a testing of how that'll work the week before, and then they're gonna do like a more public push after.
Point of information on that note, there was a lot of misinformation from Wells employees that there would not be bone-in wings being served. That will be the case.
There will be bone-in wings?
Yes.
Any other questions for the special committees? President Trent?
Senator Weber, when is the symposium?
April 17th from 9.
Volunteer hours into their own.
Yeah, well, they have the time of the stuff posted, but pretty much in it that week.
Follow-up question. Am I still giving out awards at that? Who sent me the email about that?
It was probably Mindy Pelletier. I can ask about that.
Yeah, get back to me about that.
I will.
It is concert day.
It is. Wait, what?
Any other questions for the special committees? Representative Emery?
Point of information for Senator Caldwell, when is the soft launch of that Buffalo Wild Wings again?
You can just ask the question, you don't have to say that, but that's okay. That is just the week before. I think from what I heard, they're just gonna open it, just like quietly open it the week before.
What's it?
The week before is spring break, so I don't know what that day is spring break, but it's just the week before, and then they're doing a really public launch afterwards.
Very important.
BP Fang?
Senator Caldwell, have you tried to get the menu yet? Will you please?
I can ask, I can certainly ask, it's probably not something that's super public right now. I assume it's not, cause it might change, but I can ask.
Senator St. Lawrence?
Point of information, it's very similar to the Buffalo Wild Wings Go menu, if you can look at that app or menu.
Are there any more questions for the special committees? It's not about Buffalo Wild Wings. Seeing none, we're gonna be moving on to representative board reports, starting with the Honors College Student Leadership Council.
Hi, everyone. This will be pretty short. It's a couple busy days for us as voting for officer positions for next year has opened, and last week we held our info session. It went pretty good. We had about 20 students show up, and I think 9 of them are interested in applying. We so far have 2 people that have applied for president and no other applications yet. So theoretically, the deadline is to be this Friday. We might extend that. I will be reaching out to students tomorrow that attend info session as a reminder when the deadline is. And then we also have students that were recommended by honors faculty that they think would be good choices for this board. So I'm going to be reaching out to the students also, just as a reminder, even though they've probably been bombarded with emails about this. And last update, not even related to that, is we have requested funding for May Day Meal Blackout, which will be the May Day food pantry event in the Innovative as well.
Interfraternity Council?
Hey everyone, so last meeting we had elections. Nevin O'Shea is the newly elected VP of DEI. Separation of our bylaws and constitution passed vote. Our president, VP of Risk Management, and comms will be leaving Thursday afternoon to go to NGLA in Pittsburgh, along with the Panhandle representatives. We will be having a joint meeting tomorrow, followed by a joint president's roundtable. We finalized our budget and presented it to the EBC. We're still working on developing some form of alternative conduct resolution board to adjudicate fraternity conduct hearings. MPC rejected the proposal, so it's going to have to be a fraternity only board. The current draft is still awaiting approval from Conduct, NIC, and IFC Council. We hope to get the new policy passed next week, with the new system up and running April 1st.
Analytic Council?
Hi, everyone. So update on recruitment, the only chapter that is still being is Santa Seda. They have 3 spots open, but 2 pending bids, and they're hoping to fill those spots by the end of the week. All the other chapters have reached chapter total. Our VP of DEI has a mental health event on March 5th from 5 to 7 p.m. for the chapters. It's going to be mandatory for each chapter to have 20 members to go, and that we're planning to hopefully offer pizza and refreshments there. And then the VP of Philanthropy is working with IFC to organize a philanthropy event sometime in March. They're partnering with the Naval Waste Center, First Choice, Rape Response Center Services, and Title IX to raise awareness about students' rights and resources. More details are to be. There's a new member training session tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. in Neville for all new members who joined this semester. And then this Thursday, me, VP of Risk, and VP of Recruitment, along with IFC, are leaving to go to the NGLA conference. We can't wait to bring back what we have learned along with the presentation and photos. And then with the student government budget, we have had the meeting and are hoping to finalize that soon. And then lastly, we were planning to vote on the recruitment bylaws and the amended bylaws at the meeting tomorrow, but we're gonna probably push it back to next week and report.
Student Athletic Advisory Council.
Hi everyone, so men's ice hockey swept Merrimack at home last weekend. Women's ice hockey also beat Merrimack and they will be hosting a playoff game tomorrow at 5 a.m. at Yamaha. Men's and women's basketball both beat UNH. The women's team clinched a playoff. And swim and dive sets a 16 individual records at the America East Championship.
Senior Class Council.
There are 74 days left until graduation and report.
Sustainability Environmental Action Division.
Finalize the date for sustainability field day. So for the organizations that have requested our Green Team, Waste Minimizers, Mushroom Club, Medical Community Council, First Culture Gardening Club, Humane Agreements, Bike Packing, Geology Society, Society of American Forest, Back to Squatters, Horticulture Clubs, we requested them to the American Fisheries Society, Wildlife Society, Wood Science, Beekeeping, Birding, Entomology, Woodsman, and Astronomy Club. We tentatively for next semester, we'll have Major Bruce, this is the news to see representative, and hope to have her start chatting them soon. End of report.
Are there any questions for the representative board reports?
Good. See Rep drop their report in the chat. I think some of us had a hard time hearing it all the way on this end.
Are there any more questions? President Trump.
I have a question for the SAC rep. Did you say we had national champs at the?
No.
Okay.
For Westport.
Huh?
For Westport. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The what?
Not whatever, the new school records, is that what you said?
Yeah, we set 16 individual records at the America East Championships, so the conference championships.
Okay, so I'm pitching this to you now because I will forget if I don't say it now. In the past, we've sent congratulatory letters to teams that do well nationally. Generally, if you could keep the Senate kind of in the loop for that and help us make that a common occurrence for us to pass sentiments that are congratulating even school records sounds really cool. That would be awesome. I think a really cool way that we can kind of build some relationship with UMSG and student athletes.
Good.
Are there any more questions for the board reports? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to community social reports, starting with Student Heritage Alliance Council.
The Student Heritage Alliance Council is going to be meeting this Thursday in Libby Hall from 5 to 6. And we have a couple of really exciting things on the horizon. First off, we're still in the works to see about establishing a new cultural club. More information on that to come. BSU just came to Shaq a couple of days ago, inquiring about their hair care fair, and asking for the cavalry to come help them with fundraising. And so we're all going to be helping them with that by making a special task force to help them raise the money that they need with that. And there's a couple of we're going to be having our formal this year, and we're going to be kind of reimagining it. So it's going to be held this year, tentatively in Canoe. I just talked to him with this, and that's really exciting. It's going to be an award ceremony, and I'm still waiting to get a contract from them. But in terms of pricing, It's looking really nice. And depending on the amount of people that we have RSVP for it, we're going to see about extending it to even further than Shack. So I'll keep you guys posted. I would like to reach out to Crew, the Campus Crusaders, a Christian group on campus, to see about getting them involved with Shack as well. Seeing as religion falls under our purview. And that does it for our report. Thank you.
Wildstein, for your Streamlines.
So drag show auditions last week went really well. We had a total of 7 auditions. We have made decisions about that on our end, but we haven't picked those people yet. So I will know the official numbers in a week or two. Of how many student performers will be in the show. Last Friday we selected the top 4 themes for Lavender Prom. These themes are Gothic, Masquerade, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Cosmic / Space. Public voting for the final theme is open now. If you're interested in voting on the theme, let me know. And the Lavender Prom will be on March 28th from 7 to 10 here in the neighborhood.
International Student Association.
Well, I had the chance to meet with Sarah Jogan today, the senior advisor to our DNI side, and finalized our budget for the upcoming year. In the meantime, ISA is working on updating its website to better serve our members and enhance communications across the community. We're also preparing for the upcoming elections held in April and developing a comprehensive transition plan as my term as the president will conclude at the end of this semester. Well, not that I want to, but I'm graduating. So in the meantime, the other officers, they have expressed their intentions to stay and rerun for the same positions that they're currently having in order to ensure continuity and stability within the organization. We're also taking time to recognize and appreciate the dedication of our International Dance Festival volunteers by honoring them with appreciation certificates and gratitude for their hard work and commitment during the International Dancing Festival. And also, we are planning to organize an iftar like where Muslims break their fast with this dinner is called iftar. Coffee hour to support the care of the Muslim community on campus, creating a welcoming space for everyone. And last but not least, coming Friday, we will be having a Bulgarian themed coffee hour for the first time. And it's actually basically arranged by some of the Bulgarian students, and they will be having some activity as well. So to see you guys there at the end of the boat.
Accessibility on campus.
Hi everyone, I will be moving my office hours to online only, appointment only tomorrow. I will make sure that booking link is available on the Google Calendar. I'm looking forward to the conversation on the handicap spots and services tomorrow. I encourage everyone to attend that meeting in the report.
Are there any questions for the association reports? President Tripp?
This is for the Shack representative. Do you have money, or Shack doesn't have money in its budget currently for the hair fair, right?
No, it doesn't.
So will you be coming to us for additional funding?
I was under the impression that they already came to student government. Like I'm not sure if this was in the past, but I don't know a whole lot about the hair care fair. So I'm going to be talking with them about this on Friday, so I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, tell them I'm spending our money.
Point for Benjamin. Okay.
Point of information, they have not come this year to talk with me in any sense.
Okay, point of information, the president texted me like an hour ago, and I'm gonna be sending them forms for EDC.
There we go. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for these association reports? Seeing none, we'll now enter the 5-minute recess. Reconvening at 8:05. Seeing nothing under unfinished business, we'll now be going to new business, start with 47 DOL 32 Walker compliance checks. Are you gonna be presenting something?
You guys all have this policy in your little workup today, so we're not going to be presenting anything up on the screen. So this compliance check is something that I had to BPSO Thompson and Echo Senior about last semester. And I talked more extensively with Stephen Thompson this semester and with Sean as well about the legal process. He said he was surprised that when we first made the locker contract, we didn't add in something for locker compliances. He's kind of rolled with it, he said. But because of like the legal stuff on the contract, we don't need to make a policy to change the wording, but we do need to make a policy to make it kind of practice for the DPSO to do these things. So what this does specifically, if you look on section 3 A, it removes the word allocation in terms of use and replaces it with funding because we made some of the terms of use later. And then it moved that section E, that is moved down to the new section 5 for terms of use. And then what it does is it says that the DPSO shall conduct compliance checks at least once each semester to ensure the following academics are met. Following standards are met. Maintenance, all UMSG owned property must be kept in good condition and remain undamaged. Prohibited items, no hazardous, illegal, or otherwise prohibited items as defined in the locker rental agreement. Active utilization, assigned lockers and storage units must be actively used by the registered student organization. And correct sizing, organizations must utilize a storage unit that is appropriate for their storage inventory to ensure equitable resource distribution across all student organizations. C, scheduling notification, the dates and times of these semesterly locker compliance checks shall be determined at the DPSO's discretion. And the DPSO shall contact all primary club representatives with active locker rentals at least 1 week prior to the scheduled semesterly locker checks. Does not change anything about the DPSO's ability to randomly do a locker check should they so choose, and they do not have to give a 1 week update on that, because obviously if they have reason to do it soon, they can do so and I have to let them know. This is only for the scheduled semesterly checks. And then enforcement and reporting. If an organization is found to be in violation of the locker usage agreement, the DPSO shall issue a formal warning and provide the organization with a time frame to rectify the issue. Failure to rectify a violation within the designated time frame for repeated violations may result in immediate forfeiture of the locker at the discretion of the DPSO and FFC upon a vote for MSSB. And the results of these method checks shall be reported to the General Student Senate by the DPSO during the executive report following the completion of all inspections.
Are there any questions?
Senator Baltimore, I know you said that this doesn't take away from the DPSO's ability to right to do random lock check. Is that right outlined in this policy anywhere?
So this wouldn't have to be here because that is more something within like our legal locker contract document. So that is like part of our legal agreement with the clubs.
Any questions? BB Johnson?
By moving some of the lines from section 3 storage units to this new section 5, do you think you're blurring the distinction between a locker in the weight center and an off-campus storage unit, which we do fund for some clubs?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know the answer to that. I mean, it wasn't brought up to me. So I haven't really thought about it, but it's something good to point out. And if we wanted to change something, I mean, really the only thing that would need to change is just moving section 5A back to section 3A subsection E.
Senator Holmesfield?
This is a question. I'm just not sure if it's one for the speaker. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is there a procedure for materials purchased through student government funding that's not kept in a storage unit for keeping track of? Is there a process for keeping track of materials purchased through like student government funding that isn't stored in a locker?
No. We buy a lot of stuff and a lot of things, and it's kind of like most of that liability is built into like the concept of like in case we need to take it back or if somebody needs to dispose of something. For instance, when I first became vice president, I had to get rid of 80 expired football helmets from some club that used to exist that was in the tackle football club, and then it was our responsibility to like donate them and get rid of them. But like for the most part, we just kind of trust the club. Part of that is we obviously keep records of what we bought. So as clubs come in, I think that a big example of this is outdoor clubs. When they come in and ask us for 15. Well, this is actually a past thing, they haven't been for us for a while, but one time they asked for like 18 grand for things. And then we went back through to see what we funded in the last few years, and we saw a lot of the same stuff on there. And then we're like, where'd all this stuff go? And they're like, oh, people keep taking them. And then we're like, well, we're not buying you new ones until then I built this club storage thing. So actually that's how that came about. But does that make sense? It would be really impossible to keep track of everything we bought.
Senator Sparks?
Yeah.
In response to VPSO's Thompson's question, it would not blur the lines between lockers on campus and off campus. Basically, what this move did was it made the section 3, which it was originally in storage units, to be about how to kind of get storage units and what that process would look like. And it moved the liability to a different section. I think that was just full for liability.
Are there any more questions for the speaker?
What would be an example of a violation?
So like, you know, if there's a massive dent inside one of our lockers and we never checked it, we can, you know, we have this contract in place that they won't be doing these things. And these things won't be in the lockers. We'd have unless VPSO Thompson decided to do a random locker check, which I don't know why we would do without some sort of cause. We wouldn't know if they were storing, unless we could smell it. I wouldn't know if they were storing like apples inside of their locker, which we explicitly say like you can't do that, right? Oh, you know, but there's no way for us to know that they're doing that. There's no way of us to know if they spilled a whole bunch of paint inside of their locker, and you know they aren't held and they're held liable for these damages, but we won't know if they actually did it.
President Trump?
The way that I would see this working is like if there was a funky smell coming from a locker, then the VPSO could check it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is all right.
President Trump?
For Polypro, this is all under an article about the club. It says something like club lockers or something. So the section 5 just saying terms of use it's not confusing because it's under an article. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are there any more questions for the speaker? VP Fang?
Senator Collmore, it says that for the subsection D, vote 1A, if an organization is found to be in violation, the VPSO shall issue a formal warning. Is that the only form of action the VPSO can take? Like if they have something, it says that prohibited, like illegal items are obviously prohibited. If the VPSO found illegal items, is the only action you can take to issue a formal warning?
So I mean, basically what that formal warning would do is tell them you have this amount of time to fix this. And if this is not fixed, we will decide both at their discretion and also at SOC's discretion to not allow them to use said locker anymore. So this is kind of just like, it's similar to like the, I'm letting you know that I'm searching your locker. This is the, I've searched it, you have these things in it that shouldn't be in there anymore. We're not exactly gonna take them out, but you have to take them out and move them. Obviously, unless it's like actually illegal, like if there's like something crazy in there, then we'll like call campus PD, but like.
We're not gonna, I don't think there's a great area there.
Senator Sparks?
Also on that, if there was something that they like really needed to put in, an email saying, hey, you need to get this out of your locker within the next hour could also be sent out.
That's a time frame.
Are there any more questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
600 off to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Weber?
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Senator Oakfield?
I guess this is another question. Is there a reason for doing semesterly searches over annual and or generally like suspicions? I don't know if you guys know what I mean by that. We were like, oh, there's a funny smell, maybe we should check that out. Is there a reason we're also doing annual ones?
Yes, you
Yeah, I mean, yes. Because, you know, the way that it works right now is that they get to keep their lockers as long as they're filling out their semesterly required, campus events, not sorry, campus groups registration forms. So it just kind of makes sense logically to do those at the same time because, hey, I'm keeping the locker now. Okay, we'll check to make sure that you should have it next time.
Senator Sparks. Also with the semester checks, not everything's gonna be like a suspicious thing. So if they have paint covering the back wall of their locker, we're not gonna notice that unless we do like a semesterly check. So that also kind of is for that kind of stuff.
Senator Oldfield?
What would the protocol for that be? Just have them clean it?
Yes, yeah.
Are there any other points for debate? President Tripp?
I have information directed at BPSO Thompson. Once a semester feel good for the BPS staff?
Yeah, the reason I think that makes sense is officers change on different semesters, change at different schedules. So we're always checking once a semester, we'll always know who the officer is at that point. We don't have to worry about elections happening at some point.
Should probably put that in a job description.
Senator Palmer?
Yeah, I think a larger part of that too is, definitely based on the liability part, we don't wanna, obviously we'll be holding the club liable, but I mean, if there's a certain person or people who have access to that locker during that semester, we will know rather than, okay, was it this semester or this semester in which this damage happened, we'll know, hey, we checked it last time, this wasn't there, we checked it this time, these people had it, they're the reason that this happened, so it's kind of their responsibility to fix it. And also in terms of if there was paint and how to fix that, if they couldn't physically clean it, it was like a permanent damage, then they'd be, I assume, required to pay to get it fixed.
Any new points for debate? We're in debate, you've been in. AP5.
Public response to Senator Oldfield's point. We have a certain number of larger lockers, and this ensures that people who request larger lockers are using the space and not holding it from a club who could use the space.
Senator Oldfield?
Is the student org committee responsible for determining what the procedure would be if there's an org found like not in compliance, or is that something that's the responsibility of Sean? And is he aware of all of that?
Senator Palmer?
Yeah, so Sean knows all this, Sean's been looked at the whole thing, he's seen it, he's looked at it, he wrote the change on his own before I even asked him to. So he was ready and on the gun to do all this. And the larger part, if you fail to do so, I think the larger process is it says it may result in immediate forfeiture of the locker at the discretion of DPSO and SOC upon a theft. So if that happens, then they're the ones, but also I really do hope that people would utilize our lawyer in situations like this too, so.
New points for debate?
This is more of a question. Was there a certain incentive that prompted the creation of this documents?
Honestly, it was just something that came up in the middle of SOC. We were I asked about it and it just wasn't a thing that existed. And I was like, oh, that's silly. And everyone else was like, yeah, that's weird. And so we just did it. Yeah.
Senator Sparks?
I was also the one who recommended that it would go to a vote to SOC, just so it's not fully the VPSO's discretion. The VPSO would be the one to present it to SOC because the VPSO is the one doing locker checks. But the voting kind of prevents the VPSO just from being hey, you can't have your locker anymore.
Any points for debate? President Tripp?
Because of the point of information that maybe you do already know, but maybe this is not what we're insinuating, that's my bad. But they have to sign a full contract with Sean that has kind of activates the legal liability. So if they found something really bad in there, it would kind of take it out of his hands and then we would just up cops.
My question was more directed at smaller damages.
I see. Okay.
Is that so? Does Sean decide how much that costs? Is it decided by SOC and the cost of fixing? Where does that come into play?
I think that would be a legal process
Okay.
that because that's appraising damage, so that would
Yep,
just it would be on us. Yep.
I just like to remind everyone with a Robert's rules thing, there's discussion and debate. I haven't heard a single debate and no one else raised their hand for discussion. I don't think you get questions as things go on. I just to remind people that there's a specific slot for all these questions that no one else had any hands raised. So any points for debate and debate only? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Now moving on to 47S POL 33, rewriting executive evaluation.
Okay, so, hiring and employment policies, as we have learned as public senate, are outdated. So this is changing the hiring and employment policy to match what we have written in standing rules. Right now, so the executive evaluations are outlined in a couple of our governing documents. The main one we changed most often is the standing rules, but so because we change the standing rules so often, sometimes things get lost in the wayside to change on other governing documents. So this is kind of housekeeping. This is changing the hiring policy to match how we do executive evaluations at the moment. So the new line is explaining how we do it's explaining how we do executive evaluation. So it would be amended to read: performance evaluations shall be conducted anonymously each academic semester at the second to last regular meeting of the GSS and executive session. All those being evaluated in accordance with Rule 5, Section 3 of the standing rules shall be excused, and the executive session shall be chaired by the chair of the Policy and Procedure Committee. Evaluations shall be consolidated by the chair of the Policy and Procedure Committee, and the results shall be distributed before the week of finals. All evaluations shall be printed and kept on file by the executive administrator for up to 7 years. This is currently how we do them. It's outlined like this in the standing rules, just not in the hiring policies. And then the second one is just being removed. So this part, there is a part in the hiring policies where all of the executives and the representatives are supposed to evaluate the president and the vice president, because they are their supervisors, and then it would go both ways, and then the vice president and president would evaluate all of the representatives and all of the executives. That we don't do that at the moment because that is a very rigorous and complicated process. We definitely can, that's a conversation that we want to talk about. However, it is a very large logistical thing that can't be summed up in just one paragraph. So I'm removing it as of right now because we want to do it. If we want to bring it back in some way, we can. That would be a conversation for a later point. That would be much more in depth and a lot longer. So if anybody does want to bring it back, email me. If you want to sit down and talk about it, figure out how to do that. But as of right now, I just scratched it.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
400 also pass.
I'm not looking for approval of the committee's recommendation.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Any points for discussion? Seeing none, debate. President Tripp.
I think this is great. We've been pretty much doing the evaluations this way for all 4 years. And it amazes me in all of the things that I fixed that there are still things broken. So I guess we're still work to do when and as for the kind of executive evaluations, we also talked about this. And to me, I think that at least in the way that the executive team has worked since I've been here, we're constantly having kind of those evaluation conversations. I don't think that it would be very useful. I think that we have kind of an HR process, which is like me and the vice president, and then Sean, and both of us are the problem, and Sean needs that. But generally, the Senate is the one that I think gets to see like the output and is the one that can really make the call of like how it's looking kind of from a student perspective, and if the work is adequate coming out of the executive team, which I think is important. But we have weekly executive meetings. I know that my executive team has been not shy at pushing back at anything that I decide, which is great. But my take would be that it's a good thing to remove and not necessary. the BPSO already has like the mechanism to have those one-on-ones with the representatives. And the concept there would be if one of the executives had a problem with my job performance, they would go to the vice president and that would get handled. Does that make sense? So that mechanism already exists. I mean, I bet it's a relic from a time where they put together a review process for senators and someone said, well, what about the executives? And they threw it in there without really knowing really exactly kind of how this happens on a day-to-day. So
Any other quick points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seems clear majority in the affirmative passes. Moving on to ordinance 7S, PL 134, updating the BOT representative and VSS clerk job position. Spring 2026.
appreciate you guys sticking through this one. All right. Okay, guys, so this is pretty simple. We're in the middle of hiring and I need to send out job descriptions tomorrow, but there were two that were never updated to the new format. The old format is ugly and outdated. So a few things that were specifically put in there, they were just modernized to, again, the new template that I made like 2 years ago, I don't know. And I was surprised that they hadn't been updated. One main change was that we did strike section D subsection 4 part A from the BOT representative's job. It said utilize a survey system to gather data on University of Maine student opinions about policy brought to the BOT that will impact the general student body. This isn't done, and we have a student body that is so survey fatigued that I don't even imagine that we'll bring it back. I think that we have other mechanisms of doing that. And in the event that the BOT rep wants to do that, they already came. So just kind of having it in their job description is weird because we've never actually expected them to do that. But it's still a mechanism they can do. So we just pulled that out again for modernization. And then this was a change, I believe, made in Polypro. If somebody can speak on that. Oh yeah, you're there.
Yeah, this was made before Polypro. Originally, the clerk was supposed to get the minutes to the executive administrative assistant by 9 a.m. the next day. This has caused a lot of problems for clerks. And so after talking to our current executive administrator, we landed on adding a time stipulated by the EEA or the president of the Senate, or the vice president. Just so they can set it up according to their own process and how much time they should have, as they are the experts on those matters.
And then just for transparency's sake, I wanted to walk through just kind of a little bit of a confusion that had happened. So when I submitted the BOT rep position to Polypro, I rewrote the descriptions and transferred everything over to the new format in like 10 minutes because it needed to go to Polypro, and I had just found out that these descriptions were not updated. And I knew I needed to send out the hiring email this week. So they were kind of thrown together, and one of the changes I made on the whim was changing the BOT reps term of employment from 2 years to 1. This is because in the past, the 2-year appointment has caused problems and is not enforced by, I didn't actually know that it was board policy. Senator Sparks brought that up. But in the past, we've had, I think right now, Rep. Britton is on a 1.5-year tenure. The previous BOT rep had a 2.5-year tenure. And it's just caused us a lot of problems because also technically it excludes juniors from applying, which is a big kind of baseline for these jobs. I threw that on there and I had it under, I guess, the concept of the modernization because it's just kind of how we treated it. But it was caught after the fact of Polypro, and then Senator Sparks looked up and it said that it had to be 2 years. So because the resolution didn't directly spell that out, and because of the board's things, it was changed back to 2 years. So that's not changing. And we kind of had a conversation about how we need to do that moving forward. I don't get the 2-year thing. I get the point of like having like no training wheels, but frankly, it's really just important that we get an energetic student who's willing to do it in these positions. And I think it made more sense when we didn't have a student trustee who has 2 terms to kind of be a sounding board for these folks. But yeah, just so the Senate is fully aware, of kind of that, and that is my bad.
Also adding to that, on the Board of Trustees website, so when we caught it, I went down a very long rabbit hole trying to figure out how this happened, or like, not how this happened, but like what the 2-year came from. So basically, the background of the BOC position is it is a position that was created by the Board of Trustees. It's not technically our position. So what is supposed to happen, not supposed to happen, but what is supposed to happen, is the president of the university or the chancellor finds an undergraduate student and submits that person to be our Board of Trustees representative. At some point down the road, a really long time ago, it got delegated to student government, which then we decided in some order of time that, oh, we should have that person report back to Senate on what they talked about. And then we started paying them as a job. So in some order of events, that happened and it became a position for UMSG. So on their website for the board, it is the wording is, it is expected for the representative to have at least a 2-year term. At least is very key. They want it to be at least 2 years, just to build up that knowledge. So it's not required. It's highly anticipated and wanted by the Board of Trustees. So if we feel as though we want to change it, we definitely can. But that is how the board set up this position, and technically it is their position. So instead of just changing it to match how we've been doing it, we decided to put it back to 2 years and then present it to the Senate and see how the Senate reacted.
Yeah, and the board does not put very much time at all into these student representatives, and they're constantly begging for engagement, so they don't enforce things like this, but it's important that we stay in line, I guess, in these conversations maybe people in the future can have with the board, because I really have had enough.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
401 on to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Moore.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, will now enter discussion. President Tripp.
One last thing is that the job descriptions had been previously updated for the pay increase. So that's already there. Do not worry about that. Yes.
Any other points for discussion? Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Being a clear majority independent, that passes. Classes 47 S, POL 35, security representative bylaw.
Okay, last one should be probably 30 seconds. When I wrote our new bylaws last semester, I unintentionally did not include the security representative, and that is my bad, guys. So this is adding it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for our speaker? Seeing none, what was the committee's recommendation?
301 on to pass.
I'm not looking for approval of the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, will now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Senator Oldfield.
Our current security rep does a great job. They should be in the bylaws.
That is my bad.
Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Seeing clear majority is in the affirmative, that passes. Seeing nothing under main motion for executive sessions, will now enter special orders and announcements for any UMSG member. May this recess for no more than 5 minutes. VP Fang.
I just sent an email out to everyone that my understanding is walking this May and needs a UMSG stall. If you did not get that email, as Senator Sparks says, my bad. Please let me know, so I will put you on my list. but I need to have BJ order those soon. So again, if you got an email from me, all good. If you didn't, let me know that you're logging.
Senator Cowan.
Two quick things. First, very short, like housekeeping thing. This is not calling out anybody in particular in or outside of this room. But many people have been mispronouncing my last name recently. It is pronounced Cowan, cow, like the animal, and then in, like the word in, cow. And that'll be the end of that. Also, coming up in April, if you weren't here last semester, you might not know that TRIOTA, the WGS Honor Society and Service Organization, we're also a feminist organization on campus, the club that I'm the president of. We are hosting Take Back the Night this year, which is a support space for survivors of sexual assault and their allies, as well as community representatives and different services to kind of come together, share support space, share stories, and kind of create a safer, better campus together. We're co-hosting this year with All Maine Women, and It's on Us. And I just wanted to announce the date. That's going to be April 24th, which is a Friday at 5 p.m. It is not the same day as the concert or the symposium this year, so that's cool, improvement. And that will either be on the steps of Folklore Library or right here in the Bangor room, weather dependent. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'm hoping to make it a lot bigger this year.
President Trick.
I just want to give everybody a heads up about a pretty important event that's coming up, not tomorrow, but next Wednesday. That is the President's State of the University address. So for those of you who don't know, the president, oh wait, actually the State of the Union is tonight. So much like the President of the United States, hopefully not as much. They give a address to basically the university to update about a bunch of things. This is a pretty hot ticket conversation last year, since it was actually right after the federal administration changed over, which had a bunch of repercussions for campus. But there's been a lot going on this campus. I know we've all felt it, and I think it's a really important place for student leaders to be and show up at. So please, if you can, that'll be next Wednesday from 1 to 2:30. Often it is a interesting time. I imagine that we'll see student demonstrations like we have in the past. Yeah, I think that you should hear from the president about where the university is at. And on that note, we need to follow up for her to be here at the Senate. Because I don't believe she visited last year.
No.
So any FaceTime that student leaders can get with the president, I highly recommend that you take advantage of, because there is not very much. Thank you.
Any other special order announcements? Senator Oldfield.
Totally not Senate related, but if you like to dance, I teach dance class on Wednesday night from 5 to 6 in the rec, and you should come.
Senator Sparks.
Just a point of privilege, because a very specific vice president has been losing his mind over it for the past 2 hours. Point of privilege is for when you have a comment that is relevant to the current conversation that needs to be said right then and there. Point of information is when you have a question.
That's good. Any other special orders announcements? Senator Soper.
I just wanted to share that this weekend and next weekend, the School of Performing Arts is putting on the Percy Jackson Musical, The Lightning Speed. It's free if you have a Maine card. There's posters if you scan it or go on like the student ticket website. You can claim a ticket. It's Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m.
Is it this weekend? And it's only this weekend?
It's this weekend and next weekend.
Same times?
Yes.
Cool.
Senator St. Lawrence.
Repost the concert announcement once it's out, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. I completely forgot something in my report because it happened after I turned it into BJ, but so the Maine bound situation is turning into a movie ticket situation. I'm gonna just say it out loud, I don't care. They didn't inform us until today that we were only $1,000, or like very recently that we were only $1,000 away from hitting the limit, which I feel like is a discussion that should have happened forever ago. So just be aware that the program is going to go until they hit the $1,000, which they're projecting to be next week, and then it will be temporarily suspended while we meet with them to discuss a plan of action, which will include a lot of rules that they didn't seem wanting to do before, but that I think are necessary to make this program sustain. So the necessary conversations will be had, and I just wanted to inform you guys that I can take questions if people have questions.
Will you be returning to the Senate for additional funding?
That is hopefully going to happen, but what I want to do is find out like an actual new projected way of doing it. And again, the reason it's shot up so much is because like we're now offering this program, so now it's going to be hard to estimate how much is going to be used. But I think again, we want to reinstate some like more solidified rules and ways of like regulating the system.
Thanks with everything new that we do, that's something.
BP thing,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
Do you know if this program has increased the use of rentals, or people are just the people who are already paying for it are not just getting free to the bus? So from my understanding, again, it would take an entire year to get the $10,000 that we allocated, which was the projected like amount that they spent in an entire year. In 2 months, really, they've spent $4,000 each month. So in January and February alone, they spent $4,000 each month. So yeah, so there's clearly some issues on some of that here.
President Trump.
Question for Vice President Beeman. Should there be a pause during winter break?
I believe there was. I think it was literally like in those few days, it's in the last 10 days. I believe so.
Any other special orders and announcements?
On a lighter note, the Japanese club is holding a Pokemon card raffle, so if you guys would like a prismatic evolution surprise box, be sure to get a raffle.
First Friday Bagels will be happening on March 6th, and in addition to that, Orono Town Council will be there, which is the first time that they will be there, so that's important. Go get bagels.
Senator Collmore.
Everyone has said a lot of cool things, there's been a lot of really cool announcements and dates and times. If you'd like to put them in the Senate chat so people know and can put them in their calendars, that would be really awesome if you want people to go to the event.
The Engineering Student Advisory Board has its first Dunkin' Drinks and Treats event on Thursday, well, this Thursday. And then it's gonna happen again on Tuesday, March 10th, and then Tuesday, April 14th. And it's gonna be in the Berlin Welcome Center from 8 to 9 a.m. This is primarily for engineers, but we're not gonna double check. But this is a great thing to check out and talk to people about how the advisory boards are implemented in the engineering college. If you're interested in how it's gonna be implemented in yours coming soon, as we do have the almost tentative date thus far for the dean roundtable. So if you're an engineer or not, don't tell anyone if you're not, please go. Any other special orders and announcements? Senator Schultz.
This isn't an announcement, but like a question, comment, concern. I heard a lot of things about students not getting the snow day email or text message, and I know I did, and most people I talked to did, but there was a couple students who didn't, wasn't in the spam, wasn't in the trash, like just straight up didn't get it. So maybe if we could talk to, yeah, sorry. No. You can interrupt. Yeah.
President Schmidt.
Point of information directed at Senator Schultz. Was that an email sent to like all like the UM undergrad, or was that a campus groups email?
I think it was the email that was sent to the UMaine undergrad.
Okay. Yeah, that's a larger problem. I think I could.
Ours already.
I just pulled up the email, and in theory, you could unsubscribe, but you should
can.
do for there's an unsubscribe button.
So students keep doing that, and it's really, really, really their fault. For our email, for spot like school emails, there was a few emails last year where people came in like accusing us of not letting them vote. And I said, did you unsubscribe from the student government email? Like, yeah, and I was like, right. So tell them not to do that.
Any other special orders and announcements? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
President Trapp.
Here.
VP Shelmerdine.
Here.
VP Bone.
Here.
VP Lehman. VP Thompson.
Here.
VP Fang. Here. Director Arapat. Here. Commissioner Stankiewicz.
Here. We should say that.
Senator Vanderwood.
Here.
Senator Schultz.
Here.
Senator St. Pierre.
Here.
Senator DeLorme.
Here.
Senator St. Lawrence.
Here.
Senator Cowan.
Here.
Senator Santiello.
Here.
Senator Inman.
Here.
Senator Dana.
Here.
Senator Ricker. Senator Goodspeed. Senator Zura.
Here.
Senator Vlad.
Here.
Senator Van Beek.
Here.
Senator Oldfield.
Here.
Senator Sutker.
Here.
Senator Rivera.
Here.
Senator Weber.
Here.
Senator Rideout.
Here.
Senator Soper.
Here.
Senator Collmore.
Here.
Senator Sparks.
Here.
Senator Whitehead.
Here.
Senator Levesque.
Here.
Senator Donovan.
Here.
Representative Pellet.
Here.
Representative Brunner. Representative Knapp.
Here.
Representative Karpinski.
Here.
Representative Bangkok.
Here.
Representative Emery.
Here.
Representative Campbell.
Here.
Representative Abed. Here. Representative Tremblay. Here. Representative Farangada.
Here.
Did I miss anybody?
Now looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.